and welcome to Dublin. And walking up Talbot Street, we get our first view of the Italianate tower that dominates the main entrance to Dublin Connolly station. At least I think it's the main entrance. It's a grand affair, but accessibility was somewhat marred by the 6.7 metre flight of steps that used to lead up to platform level. And now there doesn't appear to be any trace of that original staircase. Now our once grand entrance appears to just be some back stairs. And arriving at the top of the stairs into the concourse, it becomes obvious that, probably since the arrival of the Luas trams in 2004, most people don't actually arrive at the station in this way at all. So, let's retrace our steps and pretend we approached from the other side. Okay, we're back down at street level at the Connolly Luas stop. It's on the red line, but it's on its own little spur. Therefore, some red line trams do not stop here, just like that one over there. Okay, let's go back in the station for our train. Now, this way in does feel a little more grand than those back stairs. Well, there's some redevelopment going on, but it's hardly an impressive terminus of a European capital city. However, there are a few shops and cafes and a pub, and tucked away behind the redevelopment is a staffed ticket office. Well, I bought myself a cup of James tea and a sandwich, as my ticket does not include any catering, and I'm not even sure whether there'll be a mess on this version of the Enterprise. There's ticket barriers for services within the Irish Republic, but I'm going to be going to Northern Ireland and must therefore wait in a separate holding area known as the Belfast Lounge. And this is the only clue that the train that we will take today is actually an international service, as even though the UK has left the EU, the Northern Ireland Protocol still provides for an open border between the north and the south. Enterprise is a push-pull service. The southern end of our train is driving van trailer 9003. And while we wait in the Belfast Lounge, let's have a look at our route for today. We'll leave Dublin Connolly and soon pick up the coastline all the way up to Drogheda, and then we'll continue through the Irish countryside, through Dundalk, and then across the border and stop at Newry and Portadown, and finally make a little northeast push until we are finally assimilated into Belfast at Lanyon Place. And that will be a distance of 180 kilometres or 112 miles, and we'll be beamed there in 2 hours and 15 minutes. Finally, although this service is called the Enterprise, there won't be any Star Trek puns here. As if. We've been called forward to get on the train, so let's have a look at what's on the front. And it's a Class 201 diesel locomotive which was built by General Motors in Canada between 1994 and 1995. And it's pulling a rake of 7 Enterprise coaches, originally manufactured in the 1990s, but refurbished as recently as 2016. Just behind the loco is a generator van which provides lighting and heating power to the coaches. Overall, our train will have a top speed of 90 miles per hour or 145 kilometers per hour. The Enterprise service between Dublin and Belfast has been in operation since as long ago as 1947. And is currently a joint operation provided by a planetary federation of Irish Rail and Northern Ireland Railways. But that's enough data for now. Let's hop on board. I have a forward-facing window seat and my name is displayed on the reservation window. So before we get underway, let's have a quick look at our seat for today. The support of the seat in front does give you some kind of rudimentary footrest, although there is slightly less room for my right foot due to that ducting. And when it comes to legroom, well, it's okay. But the tray table is large and sturdy and looking very Spock and Span. And this air-conditioned coach comes complete with coat hooks and an adjustable blind. Oh, and that's enough seat tour for now because we're setting off on our way. Departure is on time and we proceed out past the Irish Rail rolling stock sidings and then over the Royal Canal. Initial progress is slow as I think we're just stuck in impulse drive. The line green trains here are for the DART, the Dublin Area Rapid Transit, local commuter services. And we're on our way for the coast, but first we must negotiate the local stations just north of Connolly. But soon we are on the coast, passing Malahide Marina and crossing the lagoon on the Malahide Viaduct. And what a lovely view of the Rogerstown Estuary. And now we're underway, let's have a look at this seat next to me. Well, it's very comfortable. There's decent padding and support, and the retractable armrests are also wide and generously padded too. Pretty good. In fact, a seat good enough for Captain Kirk. Beyond Skerries, the line really does begin to skirt the Irish Sea. At Balbriggan, there's a lovely view of the harbour, without doubt the best view of the journey so far. Just to confirm, we're not on the holodeck, it really is this beautiful. And at Delvin Bridge Bay we cross from County Dublin into County Meath. On such a day as this, it really is a wonderful run. And at Laytown we cross the River Nanny on the Laytown Viaduct. And soon we're at our first stop at Drogheda. And there's quite a little collection of Class 29,000 DMUs. Well, there's been a station at Drogheda since 1844 when the railway came through from Dublin. And as we draw away, the sharp curve gives us a nice view of our locomotive and the rest of the train. And I do love that little old engine house. It looks like it's straight off someone's model railway. North of the station we run onto the Boyne Viaduct, which dates from 1855. The 15 stone spans and 3 further steel spans take us over the River Boyne. And Dundalk marks our last stop in the Republic, and what a lovely stop it is too. The station dates from 1894, and isn't the polychromic brickwork of the station glorious? There's even a little museum on the platform. Oh wow, look at that little green signal box. This really is the real McCoy. And as we cross into Northern Ireland, we start the second phaser of our journey. And soon we come upon Newry, but the train appears frightened to enter the town, preferring to skirt its western boundary. There's been a station around this site in Newry since 1855. This modern station, though, was opened in November 2009. And now we head north through the Northern Ireland countryside on our way to Portadown. I think it must be time for a Sulu review. Everything's in the grey and purple Enterprise colours and looks pretty good. And I'm pleased to say no one's had any problems with Klingons. However, there's no soap in the dispenser, although there is water and the dryer works fine. And it's fitted with an electronic lock, and overall, yeah, it's okay. On our way back to the seat through what I would call standard class, we'll see it's laid out in the 2+2 configuration as you've seen, and the seats are very comfortable. Prices can vary, but I Picarded an advance ticket via the Irish Rail app and paid €13.99. We'll have a walk up to the bridge to look at Enterprise Plus in a little while. And approaching Portadown, we swing sharp right to start to travel northeast on to Belfast. Portadown station also has a modern feel to it, as it was built in 1970 and then extensively refurbished in 2013. As we pass Enterprise set 9001 on the southbound working, it's worth noting that there are 4 Enterprise sets in this Starfleet. Right, let's check off the Enterprise Plus carriage, which is effectively first class. Plus singles are priced at $39.99. Ordinarily it would have probably been worth the extra as you can dine in Plus, but when I was travelling the dining service was still suspended due to COVID. As we're approaching Belfast, some final thoughts. Today's journey has been trouble-free and the train itself is comfortable in both classes, but first we'll feel more premium when there is some catering to be had. However, the train does feel pretty slow, and it would really suit these two great cities if speed could be increased and the journey times reduced. At Central Junction we peel off to the right to skirt the city centre for our final assimilation into Belfast at Lanyon Place. And that's it, we're here. A lovely run through the Irish countryside. The beautiful part I think being that section just north of Dublin where we skirt along by the Irish Sea. But hey, we're on time, and that's good news because I've got a ferry to catch. And so the arrival walk does have the impression like you're exiting at an airport, and there's definitely a feeling that this is international transport, even though the border is completely open. And we're out of the barriers and into the concourse, but I need to energise myself to catch that ferry, so I won't be dallying long, but just long enough to say thank you very much for watching, and if you've enjoyed the video then please give it a like and also consider subscribing to the channel as I release a video every Friday. But in the meantime, as I jump into a taxi, it's a very brief farewell from Belfast.